I'm about to say something that is going to make some of you uncomfortable. A few of the frugal habits I was most proud of were quietly costing me more money than they saved. Not a little more, significantly more. And it took me years to see it because the habits felt so virtuous that I never thought to question them. Today, I am sharing 9 frugal habits I completely stopped doing at 52. Not because I became less frugal, because I became smarter about it. And number 1 is the one that cost me the most. Not in dollars, in something far more valuable. Stay with me for that one. Let us start with the ones hiding in your kitchen, because that is where most of the damage was happening in my life without me realizing it. Number 9, driving to 3 different grocery stores every week to chase the lowest prices. I used to be so proud of this. I would check the weekly flyers for Aldi, Kroger, and the local market. I would map out my route. I would hit all 3 stores every Tuesday morning to get the lost leaders from each one. I saved 20 cents on butter here, 50 cents on chicken there. It felt like winning. Then one week I actually tracked the math. I drove 15 extra miles across all 3 stops. I spent 2 extra hours in my car and in checkout lines. The gas alone cost $2.50. My total savings after subtracting the fuel was 90 cents. I was valuing my time at 45 cents an hour. I now shop at one store. I stick to my list. I save less per item, but I save far more per week because I stopped burning time and gas chasing pennies across town. Number 8, extreme couponing. I spent 3 hours every Sunday matching coupons, stacking deals, and planning my attack on the grocery store. I came home with bags full of products I got for almost nothing. 10 boxes of crackers, 6 bottles of salad dressing, 4 tubes of toothpaste we did not need yet. I felt like a genius. My pantry looked like a bunker, and then 6 months later I threw half of it away because it expired before we could eat it. The crackers went stale, the salad dressing separated, the toothpaste was fine, but we already had enough to last until 2030. Free junk is still junk, and 3 hours of my Sunday is not free. I stopped couponing entirely. I buy whole ingredients off a set list at regular prices, and I never bring home food we did not plan to eat. But the grocery store was not the only place I was fooling myself. Wait until you hear what was happening in my own kitchen. Number 7, hand washing dishes to save water. After our kids moved out, I stopped using the dishwasher entirely. I stood at the sink every night and washed everything by hand. I was so proud of myself for not wasting water and electricity on a machine for just 2 people. Then my husband read an article and told me something I did not believe until I looked it up myself. A modern dishwasher uses 3 to 5 gallons of water per cycle. Hand washing dishes with the tap running uses up to 20 gallons. I was using 4 to 5 times more water to wash the exact same dishes. And I was standing on a hard tile floor for 20 minutes every night, which my lower back was quietly punishing me for. I now run the dishwasher every other day, even if it is half full. It uses less water, less energy, and my back has not complained once. Number 6, buying bulk perishables from the warehouse store because the per unit price was lower. I used to buy the massive 5-pound bag of spinach at the warehouse club because it was 30% cheaper per ounce. It felt like a victory. We are 2 people. We used about 1.5 pounds before the rest turned into a slimy green puddle at the bottom of the bag. I was paying $6 for what turned out to be $4 per pound of usable spinach. The regular grocery store charged $2.66 a pound for the smaller bag that we actually finished. I was paying a 50% premium for the illusion of a deal. Now I buy smaller portions of perishables, and I finish every last leaf. The per unit price is higher, but the per use cost is lower because nothing goes in the garbage. Can I be honest about this next group? These are the habits that hurt my pride the most to admit, because they are the ones I lectured other people about. I told my daughter to do some of these, and I was wrong. Number 5, buying clothes on the clearance rack that did not quite fit. I cannot tell you how many times I pulled a $5 shirt off the final markdown rack that was a size too small and told myself I would lose 5 pounds and fit into it perfectly. I never lost the 5 pounds. The shirt sat in my closet for 3 years with the tag still on. Every time I opened that closet, it whispered a small dose of shame at me. I had spent $5 to buy myself daily guilt. I now only buy clothing that fits my body exactly as it is today, not the body I wish I had, not the body I am planning to have, the body I actually live in. That one shift saved me more money and more emotional energy than any clearance sale ever could. Number 4, waiting in long lines for free promotional items, free coffee day, free pancake day, free scoop of ice cream day. I used to circle these dates on my calendar and drive across town to wait in line for 45 minutes. One morning I sat in a drive-through line for almost an hour for a free cup of coffee that was worth $3. When I finally pulled away with my lukewarm cup, I realized I had burned gas, wasted an entire morning, and felt irritated instead of happy. At 52, my time is my most precious and most rapidly disappearing asset. I will never again trade an hour of my life for $3 worth of flour and water. If I want a pancake, I will pay $4 and keep my morning peaceful. If you are recognizing yourself in any of these, you are not alone. A quick subscribe means you will not miss the next one. I am working on a video right now about what my grandmother spent in a month in 1955 compared to what I spend today. The numbers are going to shock you. Now, these last 3 are the ones that most people refuse to admit, not because they do not know they are doing it, but because stopping feels like admitting defeat. Number 3, delaying car maintenance to stretch the budget. I pushed my oil change past the recommended interval 3 times. Each time I told myself I was stretching the life of the oil and saving $40. The 3rd time, the engine started making a sound I had never heard before. The mechanic showed me the sludge buildup inside and handed me a $600 repair bill. I had saved $120 in skipped oil changes and cost myself $600 in engine damage. You do not save money by neglecting the most expensive machine you own. I now follow the maintenance schedule in the owner's manual religiously. The $40 oil change is not an expense, it is insurance. Number 2, cutting out every small joy to accelerate savings. For 6 months, I aggressively eliminated every tiny pleasure from my budget. No $4 coffees with friends, no $8 lunch out, no $15 on anything that was not strictly necessary. I saved an extra $80 a month and I felt like a warrior. By month 6, something inside me snapped. The relentless feeling of deprivation built up like pressure behind a dam. One evening, I impulsively booked a $900 vacation on a credit card because I convinced myself I deserved a reward for all the suffering. 6 months of $80 in savings, $480 total, erased in one evening of emotional rebellion. The math does not lie. Sustainable frugality requires small, regular pressure releases. Extreme deprivation creates blowouts. I now budget $50 a month for guilt-free small joys. A coffee with a friend, a book I have been wanting, a small treat that reminds me I am a person, not a budget spreadsheet. That $50 protects the other $1,150 from emotional sabotage. And finally, number 1, this is the one I said would cost me the most, not in dollars, in something I cannot get back. Number 1, refusing to pay for help with physical tasks. I used to insist on doing everything myself, moving heavy boxes, dragging terracotta planters across the patio, hauling bags of mulch from the car to the garden, cleaning the high gutters. I was 52 years old, and I was still trying to prove I was not old enough to need help. Asking for help felt like admitting something I was not ready to admit. So I kept lifting, kept dragging, kept climbing. And then I pulled a muscle in my lower back, moving a box that weighed more than it should have. The chiropractor visit cost $120. The prescription for muscle relaxers cost $30. I could not stand long enough to cook for 5 days, so we ordered takeout 3 times, another $75. Total cost of refusing to pay a teenager $40 to move those boxes, $225, 5 days of pain, and the humiliating realization that my pride had a price tag. Here is what I finally understand at 52. My body is not a machine I can push indefinitely. It is the most important asset I own, more important than my house, more important than my car, more important than any savings account, because without it, none of those things matter. True frugality is not proving you can do everything yourself. True frugality is protecting the one thing you cannot replace. If a task risks my joints, my back, or my balance, I pay someone to do it, happily, without guilt. because an $80 repair to the gutters is infinitely cheaper than a $15,000 hip replacement. Those are 9 frugal habits I stopped doing at 52. I am not less frugal today. I am more strategically frugal. I stopped confusing sacrifice with wisdom. I stopped confusing cheapness with thrift, and I stopped confusing pride with common sense. The difference between being cheap and being frugal is knowing which corners to cut and which corners are holding up the building. Which of these habits are you still doing, and which one are you going to stop first? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one, and I promise you there is no judgment here. I was doing all 9 of them a year ago. And in my next video, I am doing something completely different. I am comparing what my grandmother spent in an average month in 1955 to what I spend today. Rent, groceries, utilities, clothing, every single category, side by side. The numbers are going to stun you. If you do not want to miss it, subscribe and I will see you there.